There are millions of stories in Calgary's history, but absent from the narrative for many decades are the historic stories of gay Calgary. That's until our next guest got involved. Author Kevin Allen is the first ever historian in residence for Calgary's new Central Library. Kevin's also here talking about his new book, and here's the cover: Our Past Matters, Stories of Gay Calgary. And full disclosure, Kevin and I talked 4 years ago,
exactly.
And you were saying that you were, got some funding together and you were going to run with this and dig into Calgary's gay history, and here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
I thought it would take me 1 year, but it actually took me 4.
It took you 4. Remind me again, because I forget what your answer was 4 years ago. Why did you decide to take on such a big project?
It's really important to me to save these stories. They were at risk of being lost. There's not a lot of gay history kept in archives and institutions, and so a lot of this work was oral history, interviewing elders in our community and saving their stories. And actually some of the people I've interviewed at the beginning of the project have now passed on, so I'm really happy that I talked to them.
So it's a historic document then? Like it really is,
yeah.
When you think about it, because I mean these stories would have probably just been lost.
That's right.
And how significant is that to you, that you've actually archived this now forever?
Well, I mean, curiosity is a big driver of this project, and when I started I didn't know anything about Calgary's gay history, and I've found it really rewarding to discover these stories and to share these stories to the larger community.
Okay, now 4 years ago when you took on this project you were thinking just book, but you've been involved in other projects along the way, including a very, very good documentary.
Yeah, that's actually maybe why it took 4 years, is I sort of took advantage of every opportunity that came my way, and so we did a play earlier this year that was really successful called Legislating Love with Sage Theatre, and then a filmmaker contacted me out of that, and we did Gross Indecency, the Everett Clifford story.
Yeah, and Everett Clifford, for people who do not know, he was in jail twice, right?
Correct.
For simply being gay.
Correct, yeah. In 1960, he was in jail here. He got arrested in Calgary and sent to jail, and then he got out and moved to the Northwest Territories and then went back to jail.
Really?
And his court case decriminalized homosexuality in Canada.
That's right. So, that's when the law was passed,
yeah,
right? That's when the law was passed. You're also now involved as the official first ever historian in residence at the new Central Library, and how cool is that?
It's really cool. They called me this summer out of the blue and invited me for this position, and I was so honored, and I got a sneak peek tour the day before the library opened, and it actually made me cry a little bit. It's just such a stunning building, and it's so lovely to be there and to interact with Calgarians.
No kidding. And that's, you're there to tell stories? Is that it essentially?
Yeah, that's right. I'm doing 100 hours of community programming, so the book launched at the library to great fanfare last week, and I'm doing public lectures and history walks and things like that.
Excellent. And if people want to, are you still presenting? Are you still doing your talks and that type of thing?
Yeah, there's a talk coming up this Thursday at the Memorial Park Library at 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent. And of course you'll have books there for people to get if they'd like. And
yeah,
all those
absolutely.
Things.
Absolutely.
Our Past Matters, Stories of Gay Calgary. Kevin Allen taking this on 4 years ago, bringing it to fruition. And quickly, before we go here, why did you decide to do it as short stories as opposed to one long narrative?
Yeah, I thought I could write the definitive history when I started, and from start to finish, but then I realized history's more complicated than that, and there's not one narrative, so I did these sort of shorter vignettes to kind of hopefully create a narrative arc about our history.
Well, good for you for taking this on and creating a historical document, like making sure that no one ever forgets these stories. And good to see you. And come back when your next project's done.
Okay,
that's a promise.
Thanks.
You made it 4 years ago, and we fulfilled it. This is excellent.
Thanks
good
for
to see
having
you,
me,
Kevin. 7:26. You're watching Breakfast Television on City TV. News, traffic, and Andy's going to let us know when snow is coming. That's next.